So hello to everybody. This is Charles Richard, and I actually was actually going to bring you something different, but today, I've got to bring you some of the saddest. Actually, it's very sad for me to have to say this, because I grew up with this particular camera system, and I loved it. I loved it very much. This is what got me started into this whole ordeal of cameras, and even when cameras were actually filmed. Well, I'm talking about Olympus. Olympus announced, listen to this, that they are getting out of the camera industry. That's a pretty sad news, okay? For me, I think that's extremely sad because Olympus, I thought, was always a company that their products was actually above and beyond many of them. The problem is, I think, this is again my opinion, I believe that what happens is that the market for cameras in Olympus is so minute compared to the monies that they are making in the medical field, because Olympus is probably the number one industry for lenses for the medical field, for whether it's x-ray machines or anything that has to do with the medical field, and that is their strong point. So in a way, it makes sense that they actually close are actually closing the camera division. And then you've got other things that actually took place within this last year by them moving out of China. They actually are actually now have a very big facility in Vietnam, and for them to really move into that direction was definitely a great thing. I think it was really good, but Olympus, I'm sad. I'm really sad to see them go, because as a Micro Four Third camera, and company, you gotta remember that Olympus was the ones that actually began the Micro Four Thirds. In addition, Olympus was the one that began the five axis as image stabilization for IBIS. Nobody, and I do mean this, nobody, all right, can even come close to the IBIS stabilization that Olympus has to offer. And so, with that said, these are great innovations, but they're not strong enough to keep Olympus open, and Olympus never really got into the film industry, into the video industry. Yes, their cameras, actually does do 4K, and they do really good and really great with the image stabilization and everything, but they always were pretty much aimed at the consumer. They weren't aimed at the professional. Maybe as a professional photographer, yes, maybe as a professional bird watcher, yes, okay, because the lenses that they have are just incredible, and the image stabilization behind that to be able to shoot wildlife is incredible. And the color science, I think the color science is just right under, the Fuji color science, to be honestly truthful. Definitely better than the Canon, and definitely better than the Panasonic, better than the Sony, and better than any other, color science. But that was not enough to be able to, I guess, for them to see a possible future with the Olympus camera. So I hate to see them go, but I guess it's one less in the market, because the market is really crazy right now. Canon is trying to get back up on its feet, because for a long time Canon has been really messing up with all the cameras. They are known for their dual pixel autofocus, but they never give you everything in a camera. If they give you something, they take away something away from the camera, or if they give you something that, for example, that might be a 4K, it is a crop 4K, it is not a full 4K, so there's always something going on with Canon, and so But they are the kings of the hill because they've been around for a while. Nikon, for a long time, was really, really quiet. They weren't doing anything, you know. For the longest while, Nikon, just basically was pretty quiet, And Nikon is known, all right. Nikon is known for their photography, their lenses, they're known for that. They are not known for the cinematography or videography, And so, if you are not in that market in today's age, you're just not going to be able to compete. Now, the underdogs, and this is my prediction, all right, this is my prediction, guys. The underdog, all right, they've always been on top when it comes to the real professional lines because of the Fuji non lenses and how much they are used in the real cinematic industry, for the big films and all that stuff. But I think the underdog, okay, right now that we all need to watch is the Fujifilm, because Fujifilm just released the XD4, and the XD4, I tell you, is good, and I already have inside news of the new XH2 that is coming out. And guys, if you want to, go ahead and spend your $4,000 on the Canon R5, that's on you. Or if you want to wait for the quote unquote, Sony 7S Mark III, the truth of the matter is they've been promising the Sony 7S Mark III for I don't know how many years, and we're still waiting on that. So I wouldn't get my hopes up, and I cannot endorse a company that keeps me waiting for me to be able to compete in a market in which, as a commercial, as a business, I've got to have the latest product to be able to compete with, with the big boys. If you want to compete with the big boys, you've got to have the latest and the best that you can afford. And at least this camera, they start $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. A Red Scarlet is about $40,000. A Ursa Mini, they start about $10,000 and up. So if you don't have those kind of budgets and you want to really start being in a area that you are going to be hired because you've got really good equipment, you need really good equipment to be able to make your product, to be able to produce, to be able to, get your stuff out there. But the issue here is not about the other companies. The issue here is about Olympus. Now, here's what I think, right? Here's what I think. I have the Olympus OM1. I have not gotten rid of it. I still have it, okay? I got rid of my Olympus OM2, and I got rid of my Olympus OM3 to get into the Fuji system because of the coloring in it. Right now, you're looking at the Fuji. You're looking at the XT2. This is the XT2 in 4K on a Mac, all right, doing live streaming, all right? So everybody's saying, oh, well, the Fujis can't do, 4K live stream. How can I get it done on a Mac? I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it in front of you guys. And hello, for the person that just joined me, thank you for joining me. And again, if you want to write some comments, go ahead. I think the comments are working, so if they are, just go ahead and write me a comment, and I'll see if I can pop it up and pull it up, and we'll come and answer some questions. But the sad news is Fuji. I'm sorry, the sad news is not Fuji. The sad news is Olympus. Guys, Olympus just announced that they are getting out of the industry. They're getting out of the camera industry. Now, are they going to still support the other cameras? I presume they are, but I don't know for how much longer or how long they're going to do this. And their lenses, they got great lenses. I gotta tell you, their lenses, some of the glass that they have is just top-notch quality. And some of this glass is so much better than that of the Panasonic. I always liked Olympus way more than the Panasonic. I mean, the quality, the build, the Panasonic, it's a camera made out of plastic. It's a cheap camera. It's a cheaply made camera, made in China. Everything that's made in China is cheaply made. Olympus is not made in China. All right, Olympus. Well, the last one was, all right, but as a whole, most of the Olympus products were made in Japan. It's a company that comes from Japan. Another thing that I like about Olympus, just like the Fuji camera, the Fujifilm company as well as the Olympus company are companies that when you buy a camera, they just don't leave you hanging. They do upgrades for firmware. Nobody else does that, right? Sony doesn't do that. Canon doesn't do that. They'll do firmware updates a little bit at a time, but if it is a big thing, they just want you to go ahead and buy another camera next year, so that they want to get your money. Olympus has never been like that. Fujifilm has never been like that. And maybe that is why they are in the predicament that they were in, because they weren't really pushing, or they didn't have that mentality, of my customer. They bought one camera. If I got, let's say next year I got 8K, I'm not going to upgrade my cameras with firmware to provide you 8K. You need to buy a new camera. Well, that's how Canon is. That's how Sony is. That's what makes these companies just give you a little bit, so that next year when you want a little bit more, you go out and you dish another $4,000, another $3,000. So $3,000 a year, they can stay alive, they can stay open, they can afford to stay open because they're taking your money, and that's just how I feel about it. But when it comes to Fujifilm, when it comes to Olympus, these companies are companies that come and that were founded in Japan, and the Japan mentality is a mentality of, I'm not going to screw my customer. I'm not going to have that kind of an attitude with my customer. If my customer bought that, and I can bring it out to them, I'm not going to make them spend another $3,000. I'm just going to give it to them in a firmware update. Now, there's some things that you can't do, all right? There's some things that you're limited by what the components are in the camera. If they're the chip inside the camera, or the motherboard inside the camera, or whatever you may want to say, it doesn't have the capacity to be able to do a certain thing. It doesn't matter if the firmware is released or not. It's just not going to be able to do it because the electronics don't have the capability to do it. But if it does, Fujifilm and Olympus have always been great about giving it to us, customers and consumers, as a firmware update. And so it's sad for me to say and to see Olympus leaving us, because I'm going to miss him. I'm going to miss him because this is what got me started. This is what got me started in this whole industry of hobbies and cinematography, with the black magic and, all that stuff, This is what got me really interested. Now, here is, a perfect example, of how powerful these cameras are, and I've been trying to, and again, my broadcast today was really supposed to be about how to set up the XT2 as a webcam, or any camera as a webcam, using the Mac software. But I want to show you, just briefly, because I really want, you guys to take a look at this, because, I think that this is just, the ability that you have to be able to do this, and the simplicity is really incredible. I'm portable right now. I'm very mobile. Take a look at this, okay? You see me here? I'm using a MacBook Air. And you can see here in my software, this is my software that is actually, doing my broadcast. And you can see right up there. Let me see if I can see it right up there. You see it up there? Let me see if I can. Let me see. Okay, right up there. This way. Yep, right there. You see that? That is my XT2. All right, that is my XT2. That is actually filming, that right there. Okay, you see me in this little circle right there. Okay, that is actually producing my 4K image. It's doing this autofocus, it's doing I've got it on manual, so that way you don't have it hunting. I've got an XC 35 millimeter. I did not bring my 16 millimeter because this time what I did was I actually mounted it on a tripod a little bit further away from me. So yesterday I had it right on the table, and it was too close, and that's what happened. And in reality, the 16 millimeter 2.8 will be a better lens for this particular scenario. But look, everything fits in this case right here. Everything fits in this case right here. All right, I don't bring a whole lot of things. And all this Elgato, capture card. Hey, take a look at my Elgato capture card. You see that? That is my Elgato capture card. It's not made by Elgato. It's bought at Office Depot, all right, for only $39, and it actually takes my Thunder ports, which you see right here. It takes one of my Thunder ports, and that one Thunder port, it actually converts it to a 3 USB A's, which I plug everything into it. I've got everything, plugged into it, and it does it great. It does really great. Now this particular scene that you see right here, this particular camera that you see right here, that is my Note 10. That is my Note 10 Plus, doing a 4K capture. It's actually doing a whole 4K capture, and the camera, you can see it very perfectly. You can see it very nice, and so I don't have a huge setup. It's not a really huge setup that I have out here, and you can see my microphone right there. Okay, you can see it right there. See, that's my microphone. Can I see it right there? Yep. See, right there, that's my microphone. That's my microphone, and that's all I need. That's all you need to be able to do a simple live stream, remote live stream, because that's what I'm doing. I'm doing a remote live stream. Guys, you don't have to, spend all this crazy money like they want you, and they try to get you, to brainwash you into, oh my God, you're gonna need this, you're gonna need that. Now this particular camera right now that I just switched to, all right, that is my actual MacBook Air camera right there. Okay, so that is what that is. Let me switch back again so you can see a little bit better. There you go. All right. But the truth of the matter, the truth of the matter is that you really don't need, an arm and a leg to be able to do these broadcasts. Now, yeah, I do have to apologize about the audio, but I keep telling you guys, and I keep telling you over and over and over, audio is key. Yes, 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 but I did it on purpose for two reasons, okay? One reason is to show you how bad Ecamm is, all right? Because the software that I was using is Ecamm, and Ecamm does not have the capability to do things with the audio, right? Ecamm, the only thing it has the capability is to select your microphone, and that's it. You don't have the capability to put de-essers, no limiters, no gains, no compression, no EQ, nothing at all. It's not like OBS. I'm broadcasting right now with Ecamm. Now, they say it's going to be able to do it, okay? But until it does it, I just cannot, recommend Ecamm. Ecamm, you need to get on the ball, guys. This is the most important part. Audio is the most important part. Right? It doesn't matter how nice my cameras and all these other things that you guys have, which is great, is really great. But audio is the number one reason why people go from what they are looking somewhere to somewhere else, because the audio really just doesn't keep them there. You need to bring us that controllability for audio, like OBS does, like Wirecast does, like all these other pro softwares do. You're charging, all right, an astronomical amount of money, which, I don't disagree, because I think that you guys deserve that money, but we need audio. We need the controllability for audio more so than anything to be able to make these videos, these broadcasts, these live streams come to life, Now, I want to show you a couple of other things, and I want to show you what I was going to show you today. I will come and I will stream tomorrow and I will show you, because I did promise that. The only reason that I put it aside was because I think the sad story of Olympus is a lot more important than to bring you this story about how to hook up your cameras with the Mac. I mean, we're gonna do that tomorrow anyways. But now, with that said, all right, now I have a couple of other questions, and I think that for me, some of these cameras are actually going to be worth a lot of money. For me, some of these cameras are actually going to be like wow, they're going to be a collector item. Some of these cameras are going to be collector items. I was thinking about getting rid of my Olympus OMD Mark 1, and now that Olympus is closing their doors now, absolutely not. I'm not going to get rid of it. Number one, because it's a very good camera, right? It's a very, very great, solid camera. And number two, I can also use the Olympus OMD Mark 1 to web stream. People say, oh, but I can't figure out a way to do it. Well, I'm going to show you how to do this, and so I think what I might do is I might bring you both cameras. I might bring you the XT2, which you're looking at right now, and the Olympus OMD Mark 1, and I'm going to show you how both of them have the capacity to stream, to do live stream. Because if you really think about it, the Olympus will not do 4K. All right, although the sensor has the capacity to do 4K, Olympus will not do 4K. The Olympus OMD 1, that's the one. The 2 does 4K, the 3 does 4K, but the 1 does not do 4K. So with that said, the quality though is really good in 1080, but it has the capability of streaming 4K. This particular stream that you're looking at right now is strictly done in 4K, right? This is a 4K stream. I don't know. I might not have my output in 4K. Let me take a look. I'm not sure if I set up my output in 4K. No, I did not. Okay, I did not. So although my cameras are set at 4K, my output, I've got it set at 1080p. I did not set it at 4K, so I take that back. But they do have the capability. I should have done this stream in 4K. I did not. Well, for several reasons. The first one is Facebook does not do 4K. For all those that don't know, Facebook does not do live streaming in 4K. The other ones do that. All right, all the other ones do, like YouTube. They do 4K and all that stuff. So, anyways, I just want to say thank you. Okay, thank you for joining me. And please, again, if you like these kind of streams, please subscribe, yay, subscribe, don't forget to subscribe, so that we can bring you all these wonderful things. I've got a triple camera setup, as you can see here, all right, on my left that you see, the one showing my laptop and all my setup. That one is my Note 10 Plus, streaming at 4K. The one in the middle is my webcam. The one to my far right, that is my Fujifilm XT2. All right, and you can see that creamy bokeh on the back. And that is because of the lens that I'm using. I'm using an XC32 millimeter f2. And the quality is really, really good quality. So this is what you see. You're seeing me do all the controls right here. Okay, you see right there. Okay, I've got my laptop. This is the way that I capture. I'm using my my Thunderbolt ports here. I am not using an Elgato. Okay, no. I don't need an Elgato. All right, I'm just using a regular from Thunderbolt. Okay, to a 3 USB port, and on top of that, this also is a card reader. You can pick these up at Office Depot, Staples. They run about $40. That's all you need. And then I've got my USB microphone on one port. I've got my Samsung Note 10 on the middle port, and this port right here that you see right here, that is my Fujifilm X-T2 broadcasting in 4K. All right, and that's my simple setup. And this little tripod that you see right here, this tripod actually folds down to about 14 inches big, and it's very, very portable. I take and I carry everything that you're seeing right here. In this case, right there that you're looking at, it is a Kenneth reaction. Let me see if I can show you. It's a Kenneth reaction case. That's what I'm using. Okay, to actually carry everything. That's all I need. I don't need nothing bigger. I'm not trying to be like these guys, that carry all these backpacks and all these camera cases, and oh hell no. If it don't fit in here, okay, it ain't coming with me. That's how simple I do these live streams. I'm not trying to get complicated. I'm trying to produce content, and content is always more important than trying to bring a truckload of gigs, rigs, and drones and all that kind of stuff. That's not this particular program. This particular program is just simple live streaming, and that's about it. Hello to whoever joined me. Thank you for joining me. This is Charles Richard, and as you can see right here, right, that's Charles Richard. Yeah, that's my name right there. Right there, that's my name. Okay, and thank you for coming and joining us here today. And tomorrow, I'm going to do a live stream again. And I will be hitting a different location, completely different location. I try to rotate my locations, and this way you get to see somewhere new. And we're going to talk about how we do this whole setup. And I'm going to talk about a program that is called, all right, and it's very powerful. It's called Cam Twist. Okay, Cam Twist gives me other capabilities, and I'm gonna show you how to do some other tricks, to make your live stream a little bit more interesting. Definitely more interesting. So, anyways, this is Charles Richard saying thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope I will see you tomorrow.